We're live.
Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. Today is Siete.
How do you say Wednesday?
Seis.
No, that's Seis of Mayo.
Miércoles.
Seis de Mayo. There you go.
It is
Miércoles.
miércoles. I got my 8th grade Spanish coming back.
You
It
love
is weird.
Hispanics like Trump.
When I hear Spanish, sometimes one or two words pop into my head and remember like how the days of the week or the numbers. And I took 8 years of Spanish, so I could count from like 1 to 6. Pretty helpful.
Same. I can count from 1 to 8. Ocho is 8. Siete is 7.
Yes, it's come a long way. My daughter took high school Spanish, and she could speak fluently. She could go to Lawrence. They used to take the class in Lawrence and deal with, and strictly speak Spanish to other kids, and she could do it. And I'd say I could pass a vocabulary test with 10 multiple choice questions. That was about it. They're much better.
With cheating.
Right.
I was a prolific cheater in Spanish class.
They're much better today at teaching languages to kids, or maybe she's just much smarter than I.
She might just. Your daughter's a similar age than I am. I think she probably just paid more attention in Spanish class.
She liked
than
it
I did.
too. She thought it was cool, and I didn't. I just wanted to pass. I just wanted to get by. But I think this is day. What? It's not miércoles. It's the number. Seis de Mayo. Seis de Mayo. This is Seis de Mayo. This is the 4-month anniversary of this little podcast debuting. And I think it's been a pretty damn good 4 months, if I have to say, even though we're getting no help from the government, the state government, the federal government, any government. And it amazes me. I think this is day 51, if I'm not mistaken, of the lockdown of government mandated unemployment and destitution across the land. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking this, 2-3 weeks ago. I'm sure, Reamer, you and I talked about it, and we saw it on many, AT&T and Blue Cross Blue Shield commercials that were all coming together. Tom Brady told me we were all in this together. And Deion Sanders told me he promises we're going to get through this. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
You didn't believe him? I mean, my Bank of America has told me we're in this together. My car
Bank of America never misses the chance to tell you we're all in this together. And then you see the commercial with the soft music and people are hugging, first responders and holding up signs of, appreciation and cheering as they walk by, and everybody's feeling good. I'm here to declare on Seis de Mayo that shit is over. This has become the single most divisive issue that I can remember. Big issue. I mean, like 9/11. We were all in it together. After the marathon bombing, we were all in it together for a while until, the Boston Globe did everything it could to save, Joe Karzarniev's life, keep him off of death row. They failed, as they usually do. But nothing. This is so divisive and so intense. And I can't believe the place we've gotten so quickly. 51 days in, where I've never been more ashamed to say that I'm from Boston or I'm from Massachusetts. I hold in my hand a story about a poll, and I went. I don't know if you heard, Reamer. I went to the rally.
I did. I saw your videos. That was very
and it was
very interactive.
It was peaceful and upbeat, and people just want to work. They're just asking.
I have a question,
Governor.
About that, though.
Hold the question.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Well, the Coon Man, Jeff Cooner, was leading the rally, right?
I didn't see him, but I heard that. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he organize the whole thing? He was on the front page of the Herald.
It said something called Liberty. That the group was called
the Straight Pride People, and Jeff Cooner organized the rally.
Oh.
Yes, right. And
you should have organized. We should have organized it, Jerry. The Jerry Callahan podcast has been the voice of coronavirus trutherism. You should be.
No way am I leaving the house for that movement.
We're on Team Reality, and you're on Team Apocalypse. And I hate to say it because I went to that rally. I was impressed with the turnout. I was really impressed with the mood and the attitude. Everybody, there was nobody angry, screaming that I saw. There was no chants. There was, but the Globe said they were chanting, "It's a hoax." Didn't hear it. Don't believe it.
How about MAGA? Make America Great Again.
There was a lot of that. Why you got a problem trying to make the country great again? I think it's a great theme.
I don't really understand what these protests are. They're Trump
I'll explain to you.
Basically, right?
One of them summed it up the best. It was a truck came through and they had flags and they were honking their horns. It was kind of like a parade right there on Beacon Street.
Oh, God.
And the truck was carrying, trailing big, not big equipment, heavy equipment, but like a bobcat. And these guys were all, blue collar guys. You could tell they would look and they wanted to get on that bobcat and go to work. And they couldn't because the city of Boston will not allow it. So they did the next best thing. They went up and had their voices heard at the State House. It was a simple thing to understand, Reams. They just want to work. That's all. The government won't let them. In fact, in our state, the government won't even listen to you. You said this before we came on this podcast. You said this state, Massachusetts, will be the last. And you are right. We have nobody who is pro-business. We have nobody in charge making these decisions.
Charlie Baker's a former executive. What are you talking about?
A former Republican. You're right. Now he's in another authoritarian, a despot who is getting off on his power. And I'm going to explain to you why, and I understand why in a moment. But it is so discouraging. We could talk about the golf courses again. I'll repeat myself again. It has nothing to do with the sport of golf. It has to do with the absolute insanity of not allowing the 25,000 people who work in the golf industry to go back to work. You have no reason why. You can't give them a reason. That woman we talked about, Cara Cullen, yesterday, who owns 2 courses out in the Worcester area, she's going to open in defiance of the governor.
And then she'll be shut down and start a GoFundMe. I mean, talk about asking for a handout. I mean, how come
what handout? She has 90 employees, Reema. She wants to get them back to work.
So
you can't name it. You can't come up with a reason, and neither can Charlie Baker, on why she can't go back to work.
The golf course thing to me is like so tiring. Sure, open up the golf courses.
Good. We agreed.
Yeah, whatever. But
that's
I mean,
what you say when you have no argument. You say it's so tiring.
It is because next you're going to tell me about the skate park they're filling in, or the dude
we're get to that.
The dude in California who was arrested surfing or paddleboarding.
There was a Democrat national convention. When I was younger, you were a little kid. I think it was 88 or 92.
I wasn't born in 88.
And Jesse Jackson made a speech. He used to be able to make decent speeches before his mouth filled up with marbles. He can't even put a sentence together anymore. But he gave a speech, and the theme was, I just want to make sense. He kept saying it. I just want to make sense. And he'd go off on some tangent, and he'd come back to, I just want to make sense. Mm-hmm. All I ask is that we make sense. Filling in skateboard parks with bark mulch, and we'll get to that story because it's so stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Shutting down golf courses doesn't make any sense. All it does is allow a governor to flex his muscles and bully people who just want to work. This woman is a hero. She has 90 employees. I know you don't care because you haven't lost any of your 6 jobs yet, have you?
I may actually be adding one.
Oh, crying out. Well, we'll get to that then. No wonder you're feeling this way. No wonder you're feeling good about the current state of affairs. Well, these 90 people, every single one of them is a blue-collar worker. Every single one of them is a working-class person just trying to pay the bills. There's no, elitist, Chris Cuomo's who don't lose a check and tell.
Are those the ones showing up like just as militiamen with guns to the State House Capitol?
That was in Michigan. That did not happen in Boston. I'm proud to say, didn't see any guns. Of course, didn't see any swastikas or Klan things. I mean, that's all bullshit. And I'm surprised the Globe didn't make something up about it. That's how you know these people were well behaved. The best the Globe could get on them was a chant that they said it's a hoax, which I don't believe they did. But anyway, the governor, it baffles me why you would want to just snuff out, suffocate business, knowing that these people are going to go on the dole, knowing that you're going to hurt an entire industry. It is madness what they're doing. But now we know. Well, now we know, Reamer. Now we know, and I'm sure you've seen this. But Governor Baker is just another one of those politicians without a single conviction. He just wants to be popular, right? He loves those polls that say he's one of the most popular governors. He wants to get reelected. He's going to get reelected. He wants the Globe to like him. He wants, the Harvard folks, the academia to like him, and the medical community. By the way, these are important special interests to Charlie Baker. This story came out yesterday. I believe it was on NBC. 84% of respondents to a poll said they approved of how Charlie Baker has handled the coronavirus outbreak in the state in a poll conducted by Suffolk University. 84% in this day and age. You see a lot of polls, so do I. You don't get 84% that say the sky is blue.
Yeah,
You
well,
can't
I mean,
get-
well,
That's
every
amazing.
governor, every leader except Trump is enjoying increased approval ratings as a result of this pandemic. So,
But 84% for a fool that will not open golf courses, a fool that thinks you should put big fences around skateboard parks.
but here's the thing, though, Jerry. You talk about this woman who has 90 employees at the golf course. If she were to open up today, let's say, do you think all 90 would be able to go back to work? Do you think the golf course would be full capacity?
Stop.
Here's the thing. We only have one chance to actually reopen the economy. And the worst thing that could happen is prematurely reopen it. You have another outbreak. Okay. And here's the thing. You're not going to have a true reopening of the economy until there is confidence, until there is consumer confidence. And you get consumer confidence by actually producing the testing that we need. We don't have that.
Well, I know you did your research. We'll get to that. But I let me ask. Because God, I love you, Reamer, but you're just so dumb sometimes. What does if 65 of the 90 go back to work tomorrow? What the hell is wrong with that?
I don't know if even I don't know how many
50
people today.
If someone goes back and doesn't go on the dole and gets to work in the snack bar on the course, cutting the grass. What is wrong with that? Why don't you want them back to work?
Because it's not just an isolation. So
and you don't get one time. Here's what you got to understand, and I know we've gone over this. I'm going to go over this again. Is if you isolate all the vulnerable, all the at-risk people, mostly in nursing homes and assisted living facilities, what's the risk? The people who work at this golf course are probably mostly 20s and 30s, healthy. There ain't no risk. There's no reason for them not to be at to work. It is the most maddening thing. That's why it's so divisive, because you have smart people like me on my side saying, but wait, this virus isn't going away. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have a cure. And it's probably we probably won't have one for a year, 2 years, who knows, maybe 5 years. So eventually we all have to go back out into the world and face the scary virus. It's going to come. That day's going to come. What's the difference in today, May 6th and June 6th and July 6th?
Because
what is the difference?
Because Jerry, we are conducting 200,000 coronavirus tests daily. Okay, researchers say we need a daily average of 500,000 on the low end to safely reopen, to test people, find out who's positive, isolate. Because as the more people we test, the more people we find out who have it, then we can isolate them and everybody else can reopen into society while those are sick or isolated. But until we find out who actually has it, it's really hard.
Doesn't matter, because you're going to have so many young people who are asymptomatic who are going to get it and not even going to know it, get it.
Right.
But the potential, flu,
but I feel like we're doing the show again on March 9th, but then they could pass it to somebody who would not be asymptomatic.
The people who are vulnerable are already quarantined. They weren't back in February and early March. They are now. We know it kills the elderly. We know it kills the obese. They are quarantined. The idea, this is the first time in human history we've quarantined the healthy. It's the first time.
But here's the thing, though.
By the way, the first time we've intentionally tanked an economy.
But we're not quarantining the vulnerable, because essential workers are still going to work every day. People in grocery stores.
Okay, if they're over 60, if they're obese, if they have an underlying condition, they shouldn't.
I got news for you, Jerry. Most Americans are obese. We are an obese country, and a lot of obese people live in low-income neighborhoods, and they're still going to work.
Low-income neighborhoods.
It's true. They're still going to work every day.
Then they shouldn't.
Well, they was right. So you're
you want to quarantine the healthy. No, let the sick go to work.
So you're advocating for even a more aggressive shutdown of the economy if you don't want the obese to go to work.
So simple, right? The obese should not go to work.
Then who's going to work, Jerry? This is an obese country.
Let's see if you can grasp this concept. The ones who aren't obese. What do you think of that?
Well, so half of our workforce can't work because they're too
don't
fat.
Bring up the president. He's 1 pound.
He's 1 pound.
1 pound away from being obese.
Very important.
1 pound. And by the way, you know what? I don't think anyone should wear a mask if they don't want to. But if you're 73 and you're overweight and you're coming in contact with all kinds of people everywhere, I might wear a mask. Trump won't, but
Well, I like his he goes, it'll look kind of silly, he says, me in the Oval Office meeting world leaders.
So he wears goggles. No, in the Honeywell plant, everyone had a mask. Well, not everyone, his people didn't, but everyone working there did it. People who came up to speak did. He wore goggles, no mask. And I mean, that's
strange.
You don't have to wear a mask. You're young and healthy and fit. And
I wear a mask when I go to the grocery store.
Donald Trump, when he goes to a plant where there's a bunch of people, he should just set an example. There was a rule there that you had to wear a mask.
Well, like Mike Pence says, he didn't wear a mask because he wants to be able to look people in the eye. Apparently, not knowing the difference between a mask and a blindfold.
And by the way,
okay.
Around here at least, half the people aren't even wearing it right. They don't even have their nose covered. It's so weird. But we'll get to masks because today we have a new law. Charlie Baker's waking up with a big pup tent in his pants because he got a new executive order. And if you don't follow it, man, you're going to jail. And they got plenty of rooms in the jail now, remember? The drug dealers and rapists have been set free. So those people who don't wear masks when they go for a jog, they might end up in jail like the hairdresser in Texas, heading to jail for 7 days for cutting someone's hair. It is madness. We've reached peak madness, or maybe not. Maybe it's going to get worse. But this is where I'm so ashamed, and I'm not afraid to admit it, to be a Massachusetts resident for my entire life, to live in Boston right now. This is, some days I love this place. Today, I'm embarrassed. Here's, again, this poll. They asked a few questions. Again, 84% support, approve of the job Charlie Baker has done, which is unbelievable. They followed the Holyoke Soldiers Home tragedy where 70 veterans have died because of neglect from the Baker administration. Anyway, check this one out. 2/3 of respondents say they are prepared. 2/3 of respondents to the poll say they are prepared to wait the pandemic out either 3 months or indefinitely.
Well, yeah. So that's my question, Jerry. So all of these, the supposed uprising we're seeing here and across the country, not really. The vast majority of people are in favor nationwide. The vast majority of people are in favor of these measures because they actually listen to people who have studied viral diseases for their careers and go, let's listen to the experts instead of, friggin' Jeff Cooner.
Like Dr. Katz, David Katz, like Dr. Ioannidis, these guys from Yale and Stanford, they listen to those doctors. Dr. Scott Atlas from the Hoover Institute, you just pick and choose the doctors you want.
And what do you do?
I don't care. I read everything. I'm not kidding. I read everything. But this is amazing to me that people, I assume reasonably intelligent people, they're educated people, 2/3 they're prepared to wait indefinitely. What?
Forever.
Indefinitely.
Are you enjoying your home?
In other words, you want a Great Depression. You want 50, 60 million unemployed. You want a complete crash of the economy. You want that. Instead of just isolating the vulnerable and letting the healthy go to work.
But we can't do that, Jerry, if we don't know who's vulnerable and who isn't.
Yes, we can. Again, obese and old, over 65, over 300 pounds, don't go out. I hate to say it. It's sad.
People who work in grocery stores and other establishments, a lot of them are obese and have health conditions, but they have no choice but to work. Okay,
yes, they do.
And who's going to work who's going to work at your local Shaw's then?
Then young people, healthy
young people. Jerry, a lot of people in this country
School's out. Sick. There's no school. There's lots of kids who are looking for jobs.
A lot of people in this country are sick because we don't have a healthcare system that provides for everybody anyway.
I don't want you going off on your little moonbat tangent.
It's true though, because this is part of a larger picture, and that's why in the U.S. today still we have 25,000 new cases daily, Jerry. It's insane. South Korea, they have 0. They're over this in other parts of the world because they handled this much more wisely. We don't have the test. Still 25,000 new cases a day in the U.S.
But it's targeted. It's old people. It's vulnerable, obese people. It's New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts. I hate to say it. They don't have a problem in much of the country. Michigan, they do. Much of the country, they don't. Hell, you saw this graph.
Really? They don't?
Right. No, they don't.
Texas had its deadliest day ever one day before they opened up the economy.
What does that have to do with it? When you open the economy, I mean, people don't die in one day. So
I know, but that's saying that a state like Texas, though, has not yet reached its plateau, and it's already reopened the economy, which is only going to exacerbate the issue. Greg Abbott admitted that in documents that were leaked today.
Well, good. I mean, the idea that you're not going to have any, you're not going to have any death. No, I mean, no risk. You're going to wait for that. You're going to wait for that indefinitely.
Here's the question, Jerry. I want to answer this. How much death are we willing to go on with on a daily basis? The White House projects the daily death toll will reach 3,000 on June 1st, okay? If we continue to reopen the economies, reopen the states. That is a 9/11 every day. Are you okay? You're okay with that? That's the new normal, 3,000
I was hoping for more every day. I was hoping. You think I'm that stupid? I mean, that's such an idiotic question. I'll throw it back at you. How many unemployed? How much poverty? How much domestic violence? How much drug addiction? How much alcoholism? How much are you willing to tolerate before you say, let people work?
Oh, no. Well, that's why. See,
so how much? No, how many dead people from opioids are you willing to accept? How many bankrupt businesses are you willing to accept? Because that's
we should actually have federal assistance programs that help real people instead of big corporations. I mean, that's the real scandal here. I can focus because, Jerry, our government has given us a crappy ass response. People have no assistance. None.
What are you talking about? You make more. You can make more now from unemployment than you can working. It is a problem.
Yeah, assuming you can access the unemployment program.
Oh Jesus, here we go. It's there.
Jerry, why are there hundreds of people? If you go by a food pantry, why are lines through the door if everybody can get this 800 per week willy-nilly? I mean, obviously they can't, right?
Willy-nilly, but you can get more. I mean, it's a problem for employers. They're having trouble getting their people back in some states because they're making more to stay home until
or they feel unsafe still working in a state like Georgia, for example, that's still seeing an explosion of cases. And if I work in a beauty salon and I have an underlying health condition in particular, I don't know if I want to go back to work because I want to live.
Explosion of cases. All right, I'm looking at Georgia, 1,295 deaths. Massachusetts, the strictest lockdown that I can see, 4,200 deaths, 70,000 cases. Georgia has 30,000. Florida, really big state, lots of old people. Let's be honest, we thought it was going to be really bad. They had 1,400 deaths, 37,000 cases. They have 1/3 the number of deaths in Florida, despite having 3 or 4 times the population and many, many more elderly. Florida handled it right. Massachusetts did not.
Hey,
New York is a disaster because their governor is a buffoon. Their governor is a fool, a self-aggrandizing, egomaniacal, incompetent fool who took coronavirus patients and put them in nursing homes. I mean, that is as close to freaking manslaughter as I've ever seen. And people want him to be president. You want Andrew Cuomo, this incompetent boob, as your nominee? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. The death toll, they added 1,700 deaths to the nursing home total, I believe, which is over 5,000 now in New York in nursing homes alone because of Cuomo's incompetence. And he was on CNN last night giggling with his brother, giggling about how he's so famous now and how people love him now. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm ready to cancel the Cuomo show. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I've never found it amusing. And if you
through this process, you sound, different. You're taking on what's happening in the federal government. Some say that it is evidence of a shift in ambition. Some say that going on shows like Ellen, where she's pumping your head up with helium about how great you are, the cover of Rolling Stone, that you now, as we used to say in the neighborhood, think who you are. Do you believe that there has been a shift in your ambitions and in your sense of yourself because of all these new friends you seem to have?
Yeah, some say I shouldn't come on this show because you harass me.
Too much fierce accountability?
Provoke me.
Can't take it? Want a pat on the back?
No, it's not fierce accountability. It's ad hominem attacks.
Don't speak Spanish on my show.
They're cute. They should go on the road, these two.
Ellen's show was a pleasure for me. I'm a big fan of Ellen. Yes, she said nice things about me.
Yes, she did.
which she didn't say about you,
Nope.
but she was just telling the truth.
Oh God, this is
Nothing about me has
insufferable.
changed. I haven't been in the basement.
With the end where it says,
haven't
you're
had
feeling
my
so
wife
good about yourself,
trim
and they
my
giggle.
hair out of resentment. None of that has happened to me. I'm just doing my job, which is what I've always done.
The
I'm
word
same
from
old,
the
same old.
word from the governors in the consortium is great idea, like working with you on the policy level. You talk about yourself in the third person. True or false? It's not a denial. True or
Not
false?
true.
That you say Cuomo thinks, Cuomo
true.
says,
False.
we should ask
False.
Andrew. Are you sure?
False. False.
Do you think
False.
that you are an attractive person now because you're single,
God.
mingle? Do you really think you are some desirable single person and that this is not just people's pain coming out of them?
I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, goodness, God.
Don't answer for anything. You're feeling pretty good about yourself these days, aren't you?
The gimmick's got to end.
What the fuck?
You're feeling pretty good. This is the day, I believe the day, they announced that they had 1,700 to the total of deaths in the nursing home because of this incompetent fool.
Feeling good, baby.
This guy that didn't buy ventilators, bought solar panels. Instead, the guy's driven this state into debt like $6-7 billion.
Did you see the story that Dr. Fauci called Chris Cuomo every
night?
Every night. Yeah,
every night.
Why?
I thought Fauci was a workaholic. I didn't think he had enough time in the day to do his job. I changed my mind. He had enough time every day to call Chris Cuomo this fraud that pretended he was trapped in his basement for 2 weeks when everyone knows he was out looking at property on the Hamptons and fighting with 65-year-old bicyclists.
To find people.
And then he comes up from the basement with his whole charade, like his family, and he says, "Oh, I'm a little sweaty. I just worked out. It happens." And he comes up and pretends it's his first time leaving his basement. But you know what? Because and Tucker Carlson did a great segment on that. These people who are telling us to stay home, shut up, sit down, mask up, they're the biggest hypocrites.
Well, how do you like the doctor in Britain, Dr. Neil Ferguson, who implemented the lockdown measures and then broke them to meet his lover, which I can sympathize with. It's been almost 2 months of celibacy here. And
meet with his lover, not his married lover, while he had the virus. He had the virus. And he would meet with her in violation of the lockdown. The guy, the architect of the lockdown. That's all you need to know how stupid this whole thing is.
Here's my question, though. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just saying the guy's projections of deaths and cases were just enormous. And then he's sneaking in his mistress or whatever. It's such a bad look.
Well, my question is, though, like, when is it okay? Like, so May 18th, I call it the sex calendar. So May 18th is the day where we can open up a little bit in Massachusetts. So Charlie Baker is the one deciding, Jerry. So May 17th, no, not okay. But I guess May 19th, yes, right? Is that how it works? Was it like the big countdown?
Yes, and all that matters to him is how it looks to, Linda Pizzuti at the Globe, or how it looks to his friends at Harvard or in the medical community, or the various special interests that support him. He doesn't give a damn.
No, he does.
That guy with the backhoe on the trailer who has, or as I've pointed out before, I have a friend who's a contractor. He has 25 jobs in the city of Boston, all on hold. And you can go ahead and look in the suburbs and see people doing construction. It couldn't be safer. They have their masks, they have their gloves, they keep their distance. They're outside in the sun, in the breeze. It is insane that these people aren't allowed to go to work. It is, but
we want to do it right, and we're developing a contact tracing program in Massachusetts, which is very important and something they've done in South Korea, Japan, other countries that have successfully contained this pandemic. You only get one shot, Jerry, and I'm okay.
You do not only get one
doing
shot.
It. Why?
Because it's not going away. Whenever you go out, Alex, there's going to be virus. There's going to be cases, and if you go out now or June or August, or these idiots in Massachusetts, what did I say the number was that want to stay out indefinitely? 2/3, 67% of Massachusetts residents said they would be okay to extend the shutdown indefinitely. And I realize half of them are state employees, teachers, administrators at schools who haven't missed a paycheck. They don't count.
But they will soon. I mean, colleges are getting crushed, especially smaller colleges that are already on financial
Colleges have been bilking the system for years now. I feel awful for colleges. They get plenty of money. They'll be okay. Trust me. But I don't trust, I shouldn't say no, I don't listen to anybody who hasn't lost anything, sacrificed anything. Chris Cuomo doesn't count. These people, Fauci, Birx, whoever, they don't miss paychecks. They don't care. Their pension is waiting for them.
But here's the thing though, Jerry, when the world quote unquote opens back up again, all of the loudest voices on the right, from Sean Hannity to Rush Limbaugh, they're not going to re-enter society. They live in compounds anyway. So who's going to go back to work? The poor, the frontline workers. If you have a white
I just told you about my friend who owns a construction company.
If you have a white collar job, you will be able to work from home, and you will work from home for a long time. Yes, you will not be put at risk for this. So the question is, again, are we okay with 3,000 Americans dying per day for the GDP? Are we okay with that?
Reamer, 7,800 Americans die every day, before the virus, after the virus. 7,800.
Yes,
8,000 people die every day.
But not from a entirely preventable contagious disease.
Well,
it's the difference. Car accidents are not contagious. Cancer is not contagious. You cannot stop. Go ahead.
The difference is it's not entirely preventable. It's going to be out there. It's not going away. In some form, it's going to be out there when we reopen.
Right. Which is why we need the testing.
That's a canard. You get
to test as many people as we can to figure out who actually has it and who doesn't. Yes, I agree, but we don't have those tests.
I don't need a test. I know I don't have it. You don't have it.
How do you know?
I just know. I can feel it. I can tell.
You can feel it in your body. I
and I'm any symptoms. And if I get tested and I'm negative, what does that mean?
It means that you. Yeah, right.
But
it means that you are not sick right now.
But I can get it.
Well, and then if you feel sick, you'd get a test and you would
quarantine. Stay home for 2 weeks, and hopefully, I mean, I know I'm old. I'm not like you. I'm not. The chances of you getting killed by this are much lower than you getting hit by lightning or murdered by a scorned lover.
Oh, that's definitely way
that's
higher
your
on
number
the list.
one risk,
without it. I once had a scorned lover in college who was an RA, right? A residence. So he had keys to all the dorms. We had a terrible breakup, and I lay awake in fear every night that he was going to break into my dorm room and like strangle me. So I've been there. It's scary.
I want to mention, because we did a couple of these things in passing, and you were trying to break up my momentum because I'm so disappointed in my state, my home state. Sometimes I'm proud to be proud to be a Massachusetts-in or Bostonian, but today when I see
when are you proud to be a Bostonian?
Well, when I see the USS Constitution, I'm proud of it, and the Cass and Young, the Navy,
and the Patriots win.
Yeah, and the Patriots parade, and we know how to celebrate, but we also know how to cower in fear. And I realized that was a good showing, a big showing at the State House for that rally to reopen the state. But on the same day, 85% say they support Baker's decision to extend the lockdown statewide. I mean, can we all agree that some people, we could do it in phases, that there's no reason for a golf course to remain closed, or a roofer, or a paver not to be able to do their job outdoors? There's absolutely no reason for that. It's just nuts. Or there's no reason to keep some stores closed until they go out of business. Are you in favor of complete monopolies like Amazon and Walmart are just going to take over the world, and all these small businesses are going to be crushed?
Well, that's the issue.
Allowed to open.
The arbitrary nature of it all is what I find maddening. Like, let's say I own a small diner. Like, why can't I open at half capacity while the Target across the street is packed with hundreds of people? Like a great example is, I live near the South Bay Expo Center in Dorchester, right? And there's a Target there that is open all day, hundreds, thousands of people probably going in every day. But if I own Little Victoria's Diner across the street, I can't open at all. If I'm Victoria's Diner, I am rightfully pissed off about that, because
they should be. And Victoria's Diner is going to go out of business, and it'll be even more of a conglomerate, more of a monopoly. It's outrageous, and liberals don't care. They just want to stay under their desks, under their beds.
We just want to make sure that we actually, and Jerry, consumer confidence is by far the most important thing. I'm a longtime economist. I know this.
Right,
you need consumer confidence in order for an economy to function. And if we just open up willy-nilly without testing, without the capabilities, I don't think people are going to go back and spend. And then what do we have?
Well, you got to try. What are you going to do? Just give up? Become like this
Yeah, but in
totalitarian state where we have state-run, industries. I mean, state-approved industries. You got to try.
In fairness, it's not to the degree that you want it to, but Baker has opened up. Like some non-essential businesses can go to their place, can go to work and fulfill orders to some extent. It's not a grand opening like you want it to be per se, but it's
no. I mean, I just want it to make sense. Me and Jesse, I just want it to make sense. Why it doesn't make sense? Why? Again, I've been talking about them for 2 months. Why the roofer can't put a roof on? Why the paver can't pave a driveway? Why the golf course can't open? They don't give you an answer. Baker's answer is because look at my poll numbers, brother. They love me.
Exactly
Polito, they don't care about this golf course owner. She doesn't matter to them. They care about their poll numbers. They care about the Globe, the local media. They care about the important, powerful people.
Or they care about their health. Jerry, how many people?
Don't say the health. There's no health risk. Stop
Jerry,
that.
how many people in Massachusetts, again, are in favor of this lockdown, you said?
85%.
Okay. Do you think out of those 85%, none of them are small business owners?
Sheep. Do you ever see
what? So they're sheep.
Braveheart. You ever see Braveheart when they ask Longshanks, King Longshanks, the evil king? They ask him about the uprising of William Wallace's forces, and he says, "Oh, he's got like 5,000 people at the border. Sheep, mere sheep."
Jerry, when given the choice
William
between
Wallace,
listening,
and he thought the sheep would go away. He was wrong, damn it, because Robert the Bruce marshaled the forces after the British drew and quartered William Wallace.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Mere sheep.
This fantasy you're living out. I would prefer to listen to infectious disease experts instead of Jeff Cooner and John
that
Hannity.
Stupid argument. There's plenty of infectious disease doctors who say this is insane. I mean, now you're trusting this Neil Ferguson fraud. I mean, that's you listen to the people you're listening to.
I like a man who's horny. What are you talking? I identify with him.
And creepy. You like those horny, creepy guys.
Maybe I'm one of them.
Speaking of creepy guys, it gets creepier every day. I'll give. We have our mayors and governors in Massachusetts are out of control. They are drunk on power, and they are waking up every day saying, "How can I flex my muscles again today? How can I suppress freedom again today?" That's what they ask themselves when they wake up in the morning.
Good morning.
Marty Walsh pours himself a bowl of Captain Crunch with crunch berries. That's his favorite. He separates the crunch berries and eats them separate. He wakes up and says, "What new rules, what new edicts can I send down to the peasants today?" Well, it's worse in Providence, Rhode Island. In general, they're like Massachusetts, only smaller and crazier. Rhode Island is nuts. And Rhode Island has a mayor in Providence. What's his name again? Providence Mayor Jorge Alorza. Jorge Alorza is the mayor of Providence. He, of course, is demanding of forcing everyone to wear masks. Today in Massachusetts, we are forced to wear masks unless you're Dave Cullinane and you're asthmatic, and then you don't have to.
That's true. That's the excuse.
You're not, Jerry.
Believe me, today we're all asthmatics.
You don't have to prove it either. You don't have to prove it. You can just say that you're asthmatic and they don't ask for anything. So
I'm doing that.
Oh, Jerry, and I got news for you. Do you think anybody, if you walk outside on a mask, you're not going to get arrested, or no one's even going to ask you a question?
Yes, someone will.
No,
someone has to. There's a $300 fine. I think you get a warning, but someone has to.
But what if I'm running? Then will they run and try to catch up with me?
Baker specifically said, if you're running, you have to wear a mask.
I know, but let's say I'm running down M Street Beach, Castle Island, right? As one want to do. How would they catch me if they don't see? Would they chase after me?
I've seen you run. They could catch you. They they get on that motorcycle, the horse. They'll go after you with the horse.
Horse and buggy.
Or it's better than Texas. See, in Texas. I want to get to the Texas situation because it's so discouraging that it's happening in Texas. But a bar owner opened up because people wanted a beer, and they came in with a tank or like an armored personnel carrier, and cops got out with their guns drawn. One of them had a rifle, and the other two had pistols, and they went in and shut the bar down, arrested the bar owner. It's out of control, and the fault is I place all the blame on you as usual, Reamer. People like you, sheep who don't want to stand up and speak out and just say, "Oh, whatever it takes to save one life."
I'm not talking about saving one life. I'm talking about the White House says 3,000 dead per day by June 1. That's three. That is a 9/11 every day, Jerry.
And you know what? It doesn't matter if the guy goes to work at the beauty salon. The woman goes to work and cuts hair. That doesn't change that number at all.
Yes,
but
it does.
Here's the mayor of
exposure.
The mayor of Providence is asking people in that city to speak up if they see anyone violating safety protocols. He says if you're out there and you see someone not abiding by the rules, that means not wearing a mask, you should socially shame them so they fall in line. Now, I realize some people are dumb and don't. If you know your history, if you respect this country, the Bill of Rights, that should give you a chill up your spine that the mayor is asking people to shame and their fellow residents until they, quote, fall in line.
Let's hear it from him. It's not the best audio, but let's hear from him.
If you're out there and you see someone not abiding by the rules, you should socially shame them so that they do fall in line. We all have our way that we can, either nudge them or push them to make sure that they're being responsible as well.
So he wants you to go out there and push people. If you see someone jogging by, some whatever 7-year-old lady jogging by and her mask isn't on, push her to the ground. And you know what? Just to be sure, kick her. Kick her. That's what you do. Maybe stomp on her a little, then spit on her.
Here's the thing. The mask conversation is a distraction. You're deflecting from the main issue of the incompetence of this federal government and why countries like South Korea, no new cases, they're over it. Hong Kong, over it. Why are we still in the midst of it?
Tracks every single person in the whole country. It's easier to do when it's smaller, and you don't have a Bill of Rights. So you would like to get rid of the Bill of Rights and not have any freedoms at all.
We kind of did it after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. So
no, after 9/11, we all came together. After this, we're all going apart. And this,
Thanks to Jerry. I'm going to call Trump. I'm going to call him not the commander-in-chief, Jerry, the divider-in-chief.
Ooh,
okay, yeah.
I don't disagree. I wish he would divide. I wish he'd be on my side more and support people like Brian Kemp in Georgia and saying, everybody open up, go back to work. This is America. We take risks. This involves risk. Just like driving to work in the morning involves a risk. Going to work with a virus still out there lurking is risk, but it's a necessary risk. We're going to have 40 million unemployed before people like you say, okay, time to save this country.
No, time to save the people by giving more government benefits until we actually have
more government benefits.
To safely open up.
What, $6 trillion in freebies in the last?
And how much of it has actually gone? You talk about these amazing unemployment benefits. How much has actually gone to people versus big corporations? It's a $500 billion slush fund that Steve Mnuchin alone controls, and he can hand out.
Okay, we can agree. We can agree. Steve Mnuchin sucks. He gives me the creeps. Just like the mayor of Providence gives me the creeps. But here, a couple more anecdotes, because they never stop and they never cease to amaze me that people accept this. Right here in Massachusetts, in Newburyport, the mayor decided kids were jumping the fence and riding their skateboards. Kids who do not get the virus, kids who do not give the virus. By the way, on the mask law in Massachusetts, it's everyone over 2. So 5-year-old kids are wearing masks. Okay, I love that. This is how I know when I'm right. When Reamer goes, "Oh, Jerry."
Well, do you really think that they're going to arrest 5-year-old kids?
It's not the point. I'll tell you what they're doing. They're scaring the shit out of 5-year-old kids. They're scaring the shit out of 7, 10-year-old kids. They're putting masks on because this monster, this invisible enemy, lurks out there. 5-year-old kids don't get the virus. They don't give the virus. They should not be wearing masks. They should not be. They should not have fear instilled.
How do you know?
They should be in school, first of all, or in daycare. Secondly, they should not even be told about this. Let the kids be kids, for Christ's sake. So the kids in Newburyport are riding skateboards, which is probably the safest thing. You do that by yourself. You don't, unless you're riding tandem. You're outside. You're in the breeze. You're in the wind, the sun. To stop them, they put a fence up. The kids, of course, jumped the fence, and good for them. They should, and they rode their skateboards. The mayor in Newburyport demanded they took bark mulch with trucks and dumped it into the skateboard park. So you know what these kids do now? It's much better. They get together in groups. They go home, lock themselves in the basement, and play video games and breathe all over each other. Now, I don't think there's any risk in that either because they're kids. But skateboarding is much healthier than the alternative that they'll probably turn to because their mayor won't let them go outside and get any exercise. That is insane. But it's not just here. It's not just in the nutty Northeast. In Texas yesterday, it reached peak lunacy when they arrested. Well, one was when they had the armored personnel carrier move in on the bar because the guy wanted to serve some beer to his friends. But the beauty salon owner who opened up, and she was great. They busted her. Her name was Shelley Luther. Mm-hmm. She busted her, doing people's hair with a mask, with gloves, carefully, and trying to bring back her employees who, were grateful they could go back and earn some money. They busted her. She went to court. The judge told her that he would let her go if she apologized and said she wouldn't do it again. She refused.
Oh, my God.
She got 7 days in jail and a $7,000 fine. The sound is okay with her in court. I know. I'm sure you've heard it, Dave, but it's, she just says, I can't do that. I just want to feed my family. I'm not apologizing. He sends her to jail for cutting people's hair and trying to make some money to feed her children. That's insane. She's become the poster girl, by the way. They started a GoFundMe. No. It's probably over $100,000. She raised 19.
Right. She's exactly a GoFundMe. This is all calculated by Shelley Luther to become the next victim on the right. The victim culture.
Do you think she should go to jail? Do you think she belongs in prison?
I think yes. I think she wanted to go to prison to now become a star in the right-wing media world. Yes. Her new show is coming to Fox News next week.
You respect that judge for sending her to jail?
I mean, I just think but why couldn't Shelley Luther, again, apply for unemployment maybe? I mean,
she owns a business. She owns the beauty salon. Well, as far as I could tell, first of all,
the problem is that we don't have our PPP ran out and didn't go to small businesses.
First of all,
like hers.
I'm not sure she's eligible. I have to look into that. Secondly, she doesn't want a handout. She wants to work. She has customers who are waiting to get their hair cut. She wants to go to work and earn money and bring her employees back so they can earn a living. You liberals don't understand that. You think, why not just sit back, palms out, say, gimme, gimme, gimme. The government has, endless, limitless money. Just give me money. I mean, and this is what I don't understand about you, Reamer. You work hard. You're the hardest working commie I know.
Yes.
Don't you understand the value of work, of earning a living as opposed to getting a handout?
Of course I do, but I also just wonder, we're in the situation where, again, the most vulnerable among us are going to be hit the hardest. And that's the question. How many are we willing to sacrifice per day to open up prematurely?
Question.
Well, that's
even
a great
by your
question,
standards,
because you can't answer
question.
You can't answer
what do you want, a number?
Yeah.
A number is whatever. Again, 8,000 people die every day. People die every day.
But
it's
not
part
from
of
an
life.
infectious disease that operates on an exponential curve.
I'll say it again. They did the thing in Italy. They said the average person victim who died in Italy had 3 other life-threatening conditions. 3 other potentially fatal underlying conditions when they passed away. It's people die. That's what they die of, this, or they die of something else. I mean, I understand hospitals are putting this down, every death as a coronavirus death, because they get, it's politically advantageous.
Oh, here we go. So now the death tolls.
Have you seen the numbers you get from Medicare if they're coronavirus versus non-coronavirus? Coronavirus, it's huge. Anyway.
So now,
and if they go on a ventilator, they get a lot more.
So it's a hoax now. The deaths are a hoax.
No, we've already seen them lower the number. We've already seen admit that they do that they just put every death down as a coronavirus death. But anyway.
They've admitted that. Okay, I missed that.
Yes, keep up. Come on, read up. But I can't believe a guy like you that wants to work, that wants to work as much every day. You're looking for new gigs. Sees a woman that just wants to make a living, and you blame her.
No, because she wants to be a star and have a GoFundMe page, which she has now, which is over $100,000.
And you know what? She'll donate it to charity. You watch.
I'm sure she will. Yeah. What a great American. No, I just want our economy to actually, when it reopens, be able to reopen. But I realize we don't have the capacity to do that right now. We don't.
Yes, we do. Well, do it in phases. I'm not.
Which is what we're doing.
You know, no, we're not. Not
in Massachusetts.
Not in
Yes, we'll do it. We'll do it in phases. I'm telling you, long term, it's going to be tough. You should admire somebody like Charlie Baker. I'm
starting to agree with all. Admire him. All he does is was the greatest day of his life. It doesn't matter how many people got sick, how many people were unemployed. He has 85% approval rating. That's what he lives for. He doesn't care about doing what's right. He doesn't care about working people, or he doesn't care about the economy. He cares about polls.
The governor of a state doesn't care about his economy.
He cares about polls. Well, if
polls are fleeting.
Okay, if you cared about the economy, you would allow people to go back to work. People who work in completely safe environments
with not enough testing.
Okay,
and no consumer, consumer, because I make sense. I mean,
I agree with every one of these commenters on Facebook Live who say Reamer sucks. I'm starting to agree with
these Turtle Boy trolls, these like fake Turtle Boy accounts on
Facebook. Are they all Turtle Boy trolls today?
They're not trolls. Those are real people. I'm a turtle rider, so I'll just
shut up, Reamer.
My people aren't on Facebook because they're not Russian bots and they're under 85 years old. So my fans cannot be found on Facebook, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
We have some good to great sound from some of our public officials, including one candidate for the presidency in this election season. I'm not going to, it could be either one, but there's a couple of good gaffes to get
Just in a match, him?
Oh, yeah, just, is that how you say it? A mash?
I don't know. What's his deal? What's his,
he's the Trump, never Trumper. Never Trumpers wanted someone.
Yeah, but he's like a crazy libertarian. He's like to the right of Trump on a lot of these issues. Like once you get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's stupid. Trump has a 96% approval rating among Republicans. I don't think there's room for a never Trumper out there, but
there's still room for my dream ticket of like the James Comey, John Brennan ticket.
Yeah, that's a great ticket. A couple of evil monsters. I mean, yeah, people were dying to vote for those two, Reamer. Good idea.
The national security ticket.
Oh, Christ. But we're going to get to these. We have some good sound. I think we have some funny sound from some public officials. But first, let me tell you about Shea Concrete. I'd say this every day. I'm going to say it again. These guys are hard at work. They're not cowering under the desk. They're open for business. If you're a homeowner, a home builder, give them a call. Go up and see them. Go down and see them. Wherever you are, they have 4 state-of-the-art facilities across New England. I've been to a couple of them, but I've been to one in Amesbury. It's spectacular. It's big. It's safe. They keep their distance. They wear their masks, and they are open for business. Homeowners, home builders. You know, my brother-in-law Greg has a huge selection of precast concrete steps. Whether you're building a new home or you need to replace an old stair, Shea has great values with designs for any home, available in concrete or customized with beautiful stone, granite, or brick. Again, you want to look good because you know what's happening. People are doing their little graduation ceremonies in the front yard. They were doing prom pictures out in the steps, virtual prom pictures. And you can improve the home, improve the pictures with this new set of precast concrete steps. It can dramatically upgrade the front entrance of your home. In most cases, they can remove your old stairs and have you walking up your new front steps within hours. Try them. I promise they can get it done and get it done quick. You can learn more about Shea's Concrete Steps at SheaConcrete.com. Or you can go see them. Go stop in and see them. They're there. They're waiting for you. SheaConcrete.com. All right, Reams, I don't know if you're all in on Joe Biden, but I feel bad for you if you are, because, God, what an embarrassment.
What do you think?
An absolute embarrassment.
You've heard my comments on Joe Biden. What do you think?
Yeah, you never know, because Liz Warren told me, you got to believe all women. Liz Warren has never failed to attack even someone in her own party like Michael Bloomberg for mistreating women.
Michael Bloomberg is okay.
For hiding,
right.
For hiding, their dark past.
If Michael Bloomberg is a Democrat, then Charlie Baker's a Republican. I mean, come on.
Michael Bloomberg, a month, whatever it was, feels like 10 years ago, 2 months ago, she ripped Bloomberg's face off because he wouldn't release non-disclosure agreements. Mm-hmm. Well, Joe Biden won't release anything.
Hold on, not non-disclosure agreements though. He has no non-disclosure agreements, Joe Biden.
He might have a complaint from one Tara Reid that would completely doom his candidacy. And I love Joe Biden's argument on why he can't release the files from the University of Delaware, because there's some speeches in there he doesn't want us to hear.
You know what?
He made speeches as a vice president or speeches as a senator, and we're not allowed to hear them.
I actually agree with Joe Biden, though. Fuck that. I'm not releasing anything if I'm Joe Biden. Trump hasn't released anything.
Obviously,
why should he?
Of course he has. Of course he has.
What has Trump released? He hasn't released his tax returns. We don't know anything about what he's still invested in, not invested in with his business. He has like 35 rape accusations against him.
So University of Delaware is a public university. Biden was a public official. It was paid made a fortune by the taxpayers, and we can't see his record. It's insane.
No, fuck that. Why? It would just be used against him like Hillary's emails. No, fuck that. If I'm Joe Biden, nobody's seeing anything from my
let me get this on record. You're going to call Tara a liar, right?
No, I think I think Joe Biden should be removed from the ticket for a multitude of reasons, including Tara Reade. But I'm saying from his standpoint, I totally understand why he doesn't want anybody to get near these documents.
So do I, because he's probably guilty, because it's probably an embarrassment. I mean, the guy's history. Oh, by the way, we have a couple of sounds. I don't know if you saw this one, Cullen. I retweeted the sound from back in the day when he just in like one minute soundbite told like 10 different lies about his past. This is from 30, 40 years ago when he said he was top of his class and earned a scholarship, and it just boom, boom, boom. This reeling off one lie after another. And they go to the news, the anchor, and they say, well, none of that was true. I mean, it's just, he has a history of just making things up. So he has a history of embellishing and lying, and we're supposed to believe him now. But do you have yesterday when he talked about what the president has to do?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
This pandemic. The pandemic is that the president has no intercourse whatsoever with the rest of the country, the world on dealing with these things. Barack Obama led in the in the pandemic that occurred when we were in office. It was kept in Africa. We organized the world. We put things together.
What an absolute embarrassment. I can't believe that he's going to stand on stage. I guess he probably won't. They'll say he can't, it's a virus, but he'll have to debate in some form Trump. And Trump's not a great debater, but he's better than that guy who just said Trump has no intercourse.
Wait,
maybe
do you
not.
Think do you think he does or doesn't?
Maybe not. He's getting old. He's busy. He might not, but I'm not sure that's what he meant right there. But that's not my favorite.
Well, I don't think Trump is having. I agree with Joe Biden. Trump has not had intercourse, so I agree.
Ever?
No, not ever. He has. I mean, he's best at it. That was a cover of, what was the cover of that? The New York Post, best sex I've ever had.
Yeah, who was that? Was that Marla Maples?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, I mean, again, Trump's not the greatest public speaker, and he's not a great tweeter. He's worse than Dave Cullinane on Twitter.
I also have a question for you, Jerry. This tweet he sent out yesterday, I think, about how great Greg Gutfeld's late night show is.
Yeah.
I didn't know Fox. Do you watch the show?
Of course I watch the show. I'm a huge Gutfeld fan. He's great.
What does a Fox News late night comedy show look like?
Saturday night, 10 o'clock. It's Gutfeld. He does a great monologue. He's the best monologuer in the business. Nah. He has some guests, but he has a regular. This guy Tyrus, a former wrestler, if I have that right, Cullen, is he like a WWE guy?
Yes.
Big tattooed guy.
Isn't he accused of sexually assaulting
sexually harassing my girl Britt McHenry?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
He's not funny, and he has him on every week. He's a regular, and he goes to him a lot for comments, and he's not funny. I don't know why Gutfeld has him there, but the show's good. It's a parody, a comedy, and Gutfeld's funny as hell, and he's beating Fallon and Kimmel and Colbert in the ratings. He's on Fox News at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and he's beating all those clowns.
Well, luckily, Kimmel and Fallon and Colbert, they fired back at Trump last night, Jerry.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
That's a shock.
Yep, they
took
fired
some
back.
shots at Trump. Oh, it's a shock. Kimmel's a bigger moonbat than anyone, than like Joy Behar. He's gone off the rails. He used to be mildly entertaining. He sucks. That's why Gutfeld's stepping into this void, because these comedians don't do comedy anymore. It's weird. Yeah, they do political commentary. Gutfeld does comedy, and he's great.
Jerry Callahan has always wanted his politics out of comedy, out of sports. Just that's it. No,
Gutfeld does comedy, but he does politics, but he does it funny.
I wouldn't say that Gutfeld's taking advantage of the opportunity. I don't think anybody knows that besides you that show really exists. You might say they're getting good ratings. Nobody talks about it.
What are you talking about? Trump tweeted he beats Colbert, Kimmel, and Fallon. He's on Fox News.
Yeah, because you talk about like how the nursing homes leave on the Red Sox games. The nursing homes are leaving on Fox News.
What?
And
He just right. Yeah, he's terrible. He beats those guys.
he has a great
Fox
lead-in.
News at 10
Judge
o'clock.
Janine is his lead-in, right?
Yes.
I mean,
and
he has
before
a great.
that, Jesse Waters. They have a good lineup on Saturday night. I at least watch Gutfeld's monologue, if not the entire show. He's great.
How come you don't watch Janine Pirro?
I mean, you can only watch so much. So much. I do sometimes. She's good and crazy. I like her.
Nuts, isn't she?
I like her. They're all funnier than Kimmel. Anyway,
she's hilarious.
Yeah, the funniest guy. He's gonna have trouble this week for sheer comedy. Funny, tough time topping the West Virginia governor. I don't even remember his name. Do you have that?
Jim
Colin?
Justice.
Yeah.
Jim Justice, the governor of the great state of West Virginia, which voted for Trump over Hillary by 43 points. This is Trump country like nowhere else. I should have been born and raised in West Virginia. I should have been like, one of them good old boys. But anyway, this is Governor Jim Justice talking about, his plan to reopen the state.
Remain at home, but no longer orders them to stay at home. Again, I encourage all businesses that are allowed to open to do so only if they can follow the guidelines to keep West Virginia safe.
Oh, I heard that like 3 times and I laughed every time. Why doesn't our governor speak that bluntly? I mean, that.
But didn't he claim afterwards that there was like an error in the feed that he didn't
something
actually
like
swear?
what I forget. What was his excuse that it was somehow the audio was chopped up wrong? I don't know. But is there any doubt? Let's hear one more. It's not good and short. Let's hear Governor Jim Justice one more time talking on TV to people in the state of West Virginia.
Remain at home, but no longer orders them to stay at home. Again, I encourage all businesses that are allowed to open to do so only if they can follow the guidelines to keep West Virginia safe.
Kind of a forced F-bomb there, right? I mean, a little.
Oh, you don't think that's funny? I'm looking at you. Colin and I are cracking up, and you're just sitting there. Well, you don't like it because it's a Republican. It's a right winger from West Virginia.
I liked it, but he's advocating for people to continue to follow social distancing guidelines.
Follow the rules.
Fucking follow the rules. You should be against that then.
I can't be.
They can follow the guidelines to keep West Virginia safe.
I don't even know why.
He's like 800. He's talking about obese. He's well over the mark.
Yes, there's certain people, and I've said this all along, like are taking it too lightly. I'm not a virus. I'm not a panic porn guy. I'm not telling everyone to hide in their house. But when I look at Trump, who's 1 pound away from obesity and 73, almost 74, I don't think he should be going out mingling with as many people as he does.
Well,
but Trump thinks, I said this yesterday, he thinks he's Charlie Sheen. He thinks he has tiger blood. He's infallible. Invincible.
And also the thing about Trump is he also is getting tested every day or once every 2 days, and everyone who meets with him is getting tested as well. So he kind of lives in a bubble. He's the boy in the bubble,
right?
At this point.
Which is good. I want him and Biden to both be upright and both be healthy and standing tall when we get all through this in August and they can actually debate. And he'll be prowling around the stage. He'll be talking about Hunter. He'll have Tara Reid in the front row. It's going to be great theater. Forget sports. I want to go back to one-on-one debates between these two. I want to make sure those happen.
Oh, the fall's going to be awful. There's going to be so many sports on. It's going to be.
Just golf. I'm a golf guy. Colleen's a golf guy. It's going to be great golf every weekend because they're jamming every tournament in like 2 months. And I say this, we haven't talked that much about reopening sports, but people talk about it a little bit here and there. The only thing that matters in my world is football. People only care about football, NFL. They mentioned baseball, maybe July 1st. They're saying now, John Heyman tweeted that out. There's a plan to start July 1st, have spring training start middle of June. There's always talk of the NBA and NHL having a tournament in one place, all the teams playing a tournament over 2 weeks. But most people are just like, please tell us we'll have football. Because if that happens, say September, 5th, 6th, 8th, that'll be like a national holiday. If football starts on time, that's going to have a real feeling of we finally made it through. This is victory.
We need it for our economy too. I mean,
you care about the economy now?
So massive. I always have cared about the economy. I just want to make sure we reopen correctly. But here's the thing: you see all the politicians talk about how we need baseball back, but they're all like 80 years old, so they fit right into the demographic.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who cares if baseball. Maybe because the Red Sox.
It'll become the blue check mark thing to care that baseball, if they can get back and it's on TV to watch, ratings will be huge and it'll become the trendy thing.
Yeah,
it's a moderate opportunity for them.
Yeah, but then they'll watch it and be like, "Wow, this is boring."
Yeah, I know, and it just feels like condensing the season. You need a sense of urgency with everything, and it doesn't feel like there's ever a sense of urgency with baseball. They should start with the playoffs. That's the only time you feel
but I would watch
a real sense of urgency.
You said it yesterday. Like, I'm going to watch NASCAR when they come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am out of the sports thing. I have not watched a minute of the Korean Baseball League, nor do I intend to.
I can't watch a minute of old games. Like, oh, look, what was last night? It was on some playoff game with the Red Sox and whatever, Yankees. And I'm like, so what? I saw it already. I don't need to see a game from 15 years ago. The news is much more interesting. Watching them, take away hairdressers and handcuffs, or going in with the SWAT teams into bar rooms that opened in Texas is much more interesting.
So here's my question. So when are we opening up on the Jerry Callahan podcast? When are we going back to the Legacy Club?
I'm ready to go in tomorrow.
And when are we going to stage a rally, a protest, see if the tanks come and get us?
The Legacy Club, though, isn't a studio environment. Like, that's basically, you can almost classify that as a restaurant, wouldn't you say, to some extent?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a bar room or restaurant, but usually it's just us. It's just like the three of us.
Yeah, but if I asked you to go broadcast, I'll ask Reamer this. I know Jerry's answer. If I asked you, do you want to broadcast from a restaurant tomorrow? Would you feel comfortable doing so?
If no one's in there, sure. I mean, no one's been in there for months at this point.
Yeah,
I think you're going to be wrong about this, and I was with you at first, but I think people will go to restaurants. The opening, I saw Colorado opened, and they start with 25% capacity and then go to 50%. The owners aren't going to make a lot of money, but it's the signal, it's the sign that here we are, we're open, give us a chance. There's so many people waiting in line at takeout. I talked about driving by a cheesecake factory the other day, and there were 25 cars in line for takeout. I mean, wouldn't it be easier just to stay home and cook a burger for yourself than wait in line at Cheesecake Factory? Our friend Scott Zolak tweeted that he waited like an hour and a half in the parking lot at Chili's for them to come out with
he sent his wife to
his wife, right?
He sent his
but
wife.
I mean, I like Chili's. I love Chili's. I like Cheesecake Factory, but is it worth? Nothing's worth an hour and a half. Go home and make a peanut butter and jelly if you have to. But why are you waiting an hour and a half?
Support your local establishments.
I like the innovation. People are trying. These are, by definition, these people are entrepreneurs. A neighbor of mine was sitting outside in a chair in the sun yesterday with a jug of beer, like an old-fashioned jug. And I said, "Would you make that yourself?" He says, "No, you can go to a restaurant now. Bring your jug and they'll fill it. So there's the takeout places are selling beer. I think beer and wine. I don't know about booze for takeout. So you can get a takeout jug of beer. Of course,
and then restaurants who kind of have that signature drink. You can buy the take home version of your signature drink. I think that's cool. Like the Kowloon did that, and one of my local places. That's cool. It's cool.
I've been drinking very heavily during the quarantine.
Have you? That's good to hear.
Yeah. How about you, Jerry?
Not on weekends.
On weekends.
I'm doing the weekends.
Come on. I mean, what else are you going to do? But I'm not going to be shamed by that. I mean, I'm going nowhere.
As Dino used to say, not on school nights.
Oh, right. And he always abided by that.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking, Reamer?
Well, last night was Cinco de Mayo. It was a Margs night. Margs and sangria.
Margs and sangria with whom? Just you and your roomie?
Just me and myself. I had a nice socially distanced myself.
We got to get the Reamer cam one of these days. Get one of those GoPros on Reamer to see what he does.
I'm not saying I'm like Dr. Neil Ferguson at all, but
I think lots of people are drinking really heavily, and it's a problem. It's another one of those problems that you liberals don't care about. We got to get people out of their house and back to work, so they stop. This
doing drugs and drinking alcohol.
Doing drugs, alcohol, abusing their family members.
That's a good. Okay, I don't like any abuse, but that's a good life though. Government pays you money each week, and you smoke weed and drink.
Right. That's the culture you want. You prefer that rather than have people go to work and risk it all by getting a little flu bug.
Oh yeah.
Which is what it's going to be if you get it. You're
okay, so you haven't told me yet. So how many Americans do you want to die per day so you can go to Chili's? What is the number that's acceptable to you? For me, Jerry, it's 0. 1 death is a death too many.
Okay, to me, and I'll throw it back at you again. How many people unemployed? How many drug addicts? How much suicide? How much domestic violence are you okay with?
I think you're extrapolating. I don't know the numbers on any of this stuff.
Oh, you will.
I would say if you lose your job, you have a chance to bounce back. If you die, you have no chance to bounce back, Jerry.
If you die, you should be quarantined if you're vulnerable.
Yes.
There's no 65 and older, 70-year-old. None of them in the workforce. None of them are out there. So
that's not true. They are.
Okay, then they shouldn't be. That's my solution. And then they shouldn't be.
And then what? Not make any money, just sit home and
70-year-old, they're most of them are retired.
Let's say I'm 70 years old and I'm working at a grocery store or a convenience store, and I have to work. I have no savings, but I don't feel safe going back to work. But my company says we're open, so then I can't file for unemployment.
To spare that person, you want to shut down your whole economy and drive the 50 million people into unemployment. Great plan.
No, and what's going to happen is again, you're going to have. People,
I love you, Reem, but that's so fucking stupid.
No, what's stupid is sending people, and actually callous, is sending people back to work with conditions, who are obese, who are vulnerable, but who'll have no choice to go back to work, Jerry, because their companies will be open and their bosses will tell them, you show or you're fired.
More per week than they would normally.
No.
There's plenty of the safety net.
But if these companies open up again and they don't want to go back to work, their bosses will fire them.
That's the way
and then they can't collect.
It's remarkable the way you think. All you think about is making it easier on the people who do nothing, the people who have their hands up.
People do nothing.
The people who own businesses. Okay, I need to know, what job did you add to your life?
Yeah, I can't say anything yet.
Oh, what do you mean?
I'm being
a real
premature.
Job? A real job?
No, it's not. Definitely not a real job. No.
Here's S.E. Cupp. You know who S.E. Cupp is? She's on CNN.
I don't like her at all. She used to be
a conservative. Now she's like a liberal, never Trumper. I believe she's from Andover. I met her one day. She couldn't have been bitchier. She just blew me off.
Really?
I was trying to, be nice, tell her I, liked her work. She used to be okay. And she's kind of cute, but she's not. She just gave me the back of her hand. Didn't have any interest, and was like telling someone to go get her a glass of water or something, ordering people around. Anyway, she tweets out yesterday, new rule: anyone who's not a doctor saying we have to just accept some deaths to reopen the country needs to take their family to a crowded place and serve food to anyone who needs it. I mean,
I agree.
So stupid on so many levels. Because she says we need to. She says there's something wrong with you if you say we need to accept some deaths.
Well, I mean, I think we do, but the question is how many.
Okay,
and to me,
no, stop. Okay,
with no testing capability.
You've said that same stupid question 50 times. I'm not falling for it. So she says, according to this, she certainly implies that there's a plan that doesn't include any deaths. Now, you have to be a really stupid person or a really liberal person to think there's a way to navigate this whole country back to full employment, or back to out of this shutdown mode and back to work without deaths. I mean, there's a virus. There's no vaccine. It's going to kill some people. Most of them are elderly or obese. We can protect them. We can do our best, but there will be casualties. You'd have to be just a fool to think we have to wait until there's a plan where everybody lives. That's just idiotic. I mean, can we stop with that? Can we just get back to reality at some point? I tweeted this graph out. I mentioned it earlier, and I made a mistake, but anyway, in Massachusetts, the deaths are overwhelmingly among people over 70, overwhelmingly of the majority in nursing homes. So we have we know who's at risk. So we have a targeted solution, a targeted virus. It is targeting old people. So we target the solution. You don't quarantine the healthy to protect the sick. One person under 40 out of 100,000, one has died. I believe the total is 14 total, but out of each 100,000 adults, 100,000 citizens, one under 40 has died. And people were on Twitter saying, I can't believe this. Well, it's been the case for a month that we knew this is how it worked, that we knew it wasn't killing kids. It wasn't killing people Reamer's age. Why don't we all agree that people your age can go do one thing? You can go out, you can live your life, and the people over 60 or 70 or whatever number we decide, they can't.
I'm totally in favor of that, as long as we have testing in place. So if I am mildly symptomatic or even asymptomatic, I can get a test and know what I have and don't have. Because the thing is, Jerry, if I'm young, I'm not only interacting with other 20-somethings. I'm interacting with older people.
Hey, you're not I'll say it one more freaking time. You're not interacting with any old people. They're not out there.
I'm interacting with you on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I'm borderline. Give me a few years and I'll be locked away too. But for now, let's hope we get a vaccine by then. But for now, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go for a run without a mask. My goal is to be the first one arrested in Boston for running without a mask.
It'd be good publicity for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm all for it, because
that'll make up for you not being the lead at the rally. Like, you should have been Cooner at the rally.
I mean, Jerry Callahan is an A-lister. Jeff Cooner.
I said it yesterday. I didn't want to be around crowds of people without masks, old, fat people. There were lots of them. And I said, I want to keep my distance. And there was no reason we couldn't keep our distance. And
did you get the stickers for the show or something? Did you do anything to promote the show while you were there?
Yeah, I videotaped the crowd and I tweeted it out and I talked about it yesterday. That's more than you've done in 4 months today.
That's nonsense talk.
4 months.
Please.
Okay, what have you done? Give me one stunt you've pulled in 4 months.
We've been locked up here. Stunt. What kind of stunt are we going to pull on this show? We're going to like the turmoil that goes on in the background of this show. It doesn't exist. There's no. I'm going for a jog without a mask. And by the way, I said this earlier. The governor actually expressly said that you need a mask if you're running by people. That is idiotic.
Well, but he also said
it makes it harder to run.
But he also said last week that, like, if you're running at 5:30 in the morning, he thinks it's okay because nobody's out. But if it's 5:30 at night, then yes, it's like confused. Listen, Jerry, I think if you run without a mask, it's okay. I'm telling you, I'm giving you.
I have
Reamer. You have my permission. Yes.
King of the panickers over there.
Yes,
gave me permission to run. I don't have a mask, so that's good.
You don't have a mask?
I have a thing that you wear when you run in the winter, like that covers your face.
I got news for you. You're going to have to get one, though, Jerry, because when we do reopen, it will be mandatory to wear a mask if you want to go to a restaurant.
How do you eat? Like stick it in your nose? I mean, what do you eat? How do you
eat Sean Hannity showed us how to eat a hot dog with a mask on, right? Remember that a few weeks ago?
You got to wear a mask at a restaurant.
You're going to have to.
I'm going to do like that lady who went viral. I'm going to cut a hole in it to make it easier to breathe. All right, Reamer, go do your new job that you don't want to tell us about.
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Is it a good job or is it just one of your usual little freelance gigs?
I've already said too much. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
You said nothing.
I've said too much. I want to get ahead of myself.
Do you know what he's doing now, Cullinane?
I'm working for Outsports.
I saw a couple changes in the LinkedIn profile, but I didn't text them.
Well, those are my new gigs. I have a Boston Magazine piece out later this week, an interview with Boston's health commissioner, Jay.
Hey, I want to tell people not to read it, not to buy it. I love Reamer. I hate Boston Magazine.
Why do you hate them?
They suck.
Wait a minute. You said
they named Shirley Leung one of the most powerful people or whatever, most important people in the city. You know why? Because she managed to harass the advertisers at EEI and force DEI to, blow up their morning show. So they give her credit for one of the most unethical things that I've ever seen in journalism, an editor calling advertisers and harassing them.
I've always said to the Shirley Leung supporters
and Boston Magazine saluted her. Screw them. Don't read it. Don't buy it. Sorry, Reams. You can sell some of your other gigs here, but not that piece.
Well, they're good people, and
they're terrible people.
Appreciate them greatly. But I will say,
don't read it. If you see it somewhere at a dentist's office, throw it in the trash.
Okay, we can't go to the dentist anyway, so there you go. Dentists are closed.
All right, Raymond. Thanks, brother.
Jerry, thank you. This was fun.
We'll talk to you. It was fun. It was fun arguing with you, even though you brought one friggin' line to the whole show.
What do you mean?
Hour and a half of repeating. How many deaths are enough? What do you think? I'm a child?
Yes, I do.
Like some half moron on CNN. How many deaths are enough? Oh, let me give you a number. 725. Sounds that good?
I would just like to say I want to reopen the economy safely. I don't want to do this again. I want to make sure we get it right. I want to make sure we have the testing.
It's going to be
capacity.
the worst news for people like you when we open the economy and things go pretty well. They're not going to go perfectly, but they go pretty well because we know who this virus is attacking now.
Elderly people and poor people, and we don't care about either of them as a society.
People.
So
it doesn't attack. The virus doesn't know how much money you make.
It does though, Jerry, because if you're impoverished, you are still going out and working these frontline jobs. You are living in worse conditions. You are detached from the healthcare system. You are more likely to have an underlying condition.
The kind of person you are. That's because of the behavior.
Right. Because if you have no money, it's harder to eat healthy. It's impossible to get healthcare if you don't have a job.
It is not. God, you ever heard of Medicaid? I mean, do you know what that is?
You try to sign up for Medicaid.
That's
how easy it is.
For poor people.
I'm aware of it.
I mean, we take care of them like no civilization, no
why don't you then get on Medicaid? Dump your Cobra plan or whatever you're on.
I think I need it, man. But I'm glad we're not going to do this again. You know what? One person. That's how many people I would will in a sacrifice. And I know who it is, by the way. It's Alex Reamer.
Oh, no.
Alex Reamer. So get lost. All right. Thanks, Cullinane. Thank you to Shea Concrete. Thanks to my friends at Allied Paving. Can't wait for those guys. Can't wait to get back to work. They do great work. They're just itching to get back to work and bring us all back with them. I believe when the president says we're going to come back stronger than ever. I'm not sure it's going to be next week, but at some point, all these great American entrepreneurs and great American workers are going to come roaring back, and it's going to be a wonderful thing to see. People like Reamer and all the Democrats are going to hate to see it, but it's going to happen. I really believe that. Anyway, thank you to our friends at DCU, and thanks to everybody for listening and rating and reviewing. We really appreciate it. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Podcast. We will talk to you again tomorrow.